I always considered myself rational, the kind who scoffed at superstitions and rolled their eyes at ghost stories. That was until my curiosity was piqued by an obscure internet challenge I stumbled upon while mindlessly surfing the web late one night. It was called the Midnight Game, a supposedly ancient pagan ritual that promised to summon the Midnight Man to your home. The rules were simple, yet unsettling. Write your name on a piece of paper, prick your finger to drop blood on it, place it in front of a wooden door at exactly midnight, knock 22 times, the final knock as the clock strikes 12:01, then light a candle and move around your dark house until 3:33 a.m., avoiding the Midnight Man at all costs. Ridiculous, right? I thought so too, but something about it intrigued me. Maybe it was the adrenaline rush of doing something taboo, or just the boredom gnawing at me. But I decided to give it a try, convincing myself it was all in good fun. The night was unusually silent as I prepared the ritual, the air thick with anticipation or perhaps my own nervous excitement. The final knock echoed through my house, a sound far more ominous than I had anticipated. I lit my candle, and the game began. At first, it was thrilling, moving through the shadowy halls of my own home as if it were a haunted maze. Every creak and whisper of the wind sent shivers down my spine, but I laughed it off, confident in my skepticism. But as the night wore on, the atmosphere shifted. The air grew colder, my breath visible in the dim candlelight. I heard whispers, faint and unintelligible, brushing past my ear as if carried by the wind. Shadows seemed to flicker and dance at the edge of my vision, never fully revealing themselves, but always there, just beyond the light of my candle. Then my candle went out. I tried to relight it, hands trembling, but the lighter wouldn't work. The darkness felt oppressive, a weight on my chest that made it hard to breathe. The whispers grew louder, more insistent, and I felt something, a presence, cold and hostile, drawing nearer. Panic set in as I stumbled through the darkness, desperately trying to escape what I had invited into my home. The rational part of my brain screamed that it was all in my head, but the fear was too real, too palpable. As I rounded a corner, my candle suddenly relit on its own, casting an eerie glow on the walls. The whispers stopped, the air warmed, and for a moment, I thought it was over. I was wrong. The game had changed me, or perhaps it had revealed a part of myself I never knew existed. Since that night, shadows linger longer in my vision, and the cold seems to follow me. I hear whispers in the silence, feel eyes on me when I'm alone. I've scoured the internet for answers, for someone else who's experienced this lingering dread, but I've found nothing. The challenge seems to have vanished, the forum deleted, the post gone as if it never existed. So here I am, sharing my story, not as a warning, but as a plea. If you've played the game, if you felt what I feel, please reach out. I'm starting to believe the game doesn't end at 3:33 a.m. Maybe it never ends at all. Days turned into weeks, and the effects of that night refused to diminish. My life became a series of sleepless nights and eerie occurrences. Objects in my house moved on their own, and the cold spots became more frequent, more intense. The whispers grew into voices, calling my name, always just out of sight, always just beyond my reach. Driven by a desperate need for answers, I began researching ancient pagan rituals, hoping to find something, anything, that could help me reverse the game or at least protect myself from whatever I had unleashed. My search led me to obscure texts and forums, where I learned about protective symbols and rituals meant to ward off evil spirits. I drew the symbols on my doors and windows, recited incantations that were foreign to my tongue, but the presence, the feeling of being watched, never left. It was as if the midnight man was mocking my efforts, biding his time. It occurred to me then that perhaps I was looking at it all wrong. Instead of trying to push this entity away, maybe I needed to understand it, to communicate with it. The thought was terrifying, but I was out of options. One night, armed with a circle of salt and a candle as my only sources of light, I sat in the middle of my living room and spoke into the darkness. "I don't know what you want, but I'm listening," I said, my voice steady despite the pounding of my heart. The air around me shifted, the temperature dropping until I could see my breath. Then, silence. Not the absence of noise, but a heavy, oppressive silence that seemed to smother everything. I waited, not daring to move, until a voice, clear and unmistakably real, spoke from the shadows. "You invited me in, and yet you fear me," it said, a statement rather than a question. I didn't understand what I was doing, I admitted, keeping my eyes fixed on the flickering candle flame. "I thought it was just a game. All actions have consequences," the voice continued, its tone neither kind nor cruel. "You sought to pierce the veil between worlds, and now you stand at its threshold." "What do you want from me?" I asked, my curiosity overcoming my fear. "To teach you," it replied, "to show you the depths of your own power and the realities that lie beyond your perception. And what if I refuse?" The silence that followed was answer enough. I understood then that there was no going back, that my life had been irrevocably changed the moment I knocked on that door. I could choose to live in fear, constantly running from the shadows, or I could step into them, embrace the unknown, and perhaps find my way through. The decision was mine, and mine alone. As the first light of dawn began to seep through the curtains, the presence receded, leaving me with more questions than answers. But one thing was clear. The game was far from over. It had merely evolved into something else, something that defied the boundaries of reality and fiction. So I write this continuation not as an end, but as a beginning. A beginning of a journey into the unknown, where the rules are yet to be written and the stakes are all too real. I don't know where this path will lead me, but I am no longer the skeptic who scoffed at superstitions. I am a player in a game that spans the veil between worlds, and I am ready to see what lies beyond. In the weeks that followed, I threw myself into the study of the occult with an intensity that surprised even me. I devoured books, connected with others who had experienced the supernatural, and practiced rituals that felt as old as time itself. It was during one of these rituals, a ceremony designed to enhance one's connection to the spiritual realm, that the twist I could never have anticipated unfolded. As the candle flames danced in the darkness, casting shadows that seemed to move of their own accord, I felt a sudden, sharp pull in the depths of my consciousness. It was as if I were being drawn out of my body, out of the room, and into a space that was everywhere and nowhere at the same time. Panic surged within me, but then a voice, the same voice that had spoken to me that night, whispered, "Trust." I let go, allowing the force to guide me, and found myself in a realm of endless twilight, where the laws of physics and time seemed irrelevant. There I came face to face with the Midnight Man, but not as the malevolent entity I had expected. Instead, he appeared as a guardian of sorts, one of many beings who exist between the worlds, ensuring the balance between them. "You have been chosen," he explained, his voice echoing in the ethereal landscape. "Not because you summoned me, but because you have the potential to see beyond the veil. Your fear, your curiosity, they were merely the keys to unlocking the door to your true path." I listened, stunned, as he spoke of a world in need of balance, of forces both light and dark that must be kept in check. My ritual, my game, had been a test, one that I had passed unwittingly. But why me? I asked, feeling small and insignificant in this vast, unknowable space. Because you asked the right questions. Because you sought to understand, even when you were afraid. That is the mark of a true seeker. The revelation was overwhelming. My entire understanding of the world, of myself, had been turned upside down. I had sought to challenge the unknown, only to find that the real challenge was understanding my place within it. As I returned to my body, to my world, I knew nothing would ever be the same. The shadows still whispered, the cold still followed me, but now I understood. I wasn't just a player in the game. I was part of the game itself, a keeper of the balance I had once sought to disrupt. My life resumed, outwardly normal, but inwardly transformed. I continued my studies, now with a purpose that went beyond mere curiosity. And though I never sought to summon the Midnight Man again, I felt his presence, a reminder of the path I had chosen. The twist, it turned out, wasn't just in the game or in the realm beyond the veil. It was in me, in the realization that the greatest discoveries lie not in the shadows we explore, but in the light we bring back with us. The game, with all its terror and wonder, was merely the beginning of a journey into the unknown. A journey that promised to reveal the mysteries not just of the world beyond, but of the soul within. And so the story doesn't end, it evolves, a testament to the power of curiosity, the courage to face the unknown, and the endless quest for understanding in a world where light and darkness coexist, forever intertwined in the dance of existence. Thank you for listening to my channel.